My son Commodore had been gone to school for about 6 years and had missed a lot of the fishing trips. So when he got here, we took off for about 5 days. And we left late one night, and we crossed over the Dahoo Bridge, and it was after midnight, and we threw a cast net to catch some shrimp. We needed those for bait for our fishing trip that week. We caught quite a few shrimp, and we went to the campsite and set up our tents, and got up early the next morning after just a few hours of sleep, and went out to Scott Creek and at the inlet there, and tried to set up at low tide so we could catch some fish. I think low tide's about the best time to catch fish. And Commodore didn't know anything about the rules and regulations, so I made this little chart and put it together for him so we would know how many and how big and whatever, and how to identify those fish. And we started catching those fish. And here I have a couple of flounder and I believe a black drum, and we caught sea trout, and caught quite a few of those, and got a few sheepshead. And this one was a big one, but caught another one that was even bigger. And boy, they were good eating, hard to clean, tough. And of course, again, more trout. And after a little bit, we were catching a variety of fish, and here Commodore's got flounder and black drum and sheepshead and spot-tail bass. And then we'd take a break, and we'd go riding the bike trails, and some great bike trails. We went to the Indian Maiden and saw the 4,000-year-old oyster shells. And then we'd go back and catch more shrimp. And because everything that we caught loved shrimp, we'd get up early the next day again and go out and hit it again. Commodore caught a really nice spot-tail bass, a red drum, and it was big enough that we had to throw it back. And we're catching a variety of fish now, including the flounder, which I especially love. And they begin adding up. Again, you can see it's low tide down there if you've ever been down to Jeremy Cay. And just the variety in the fall. I think fall is the best time to go fishing down there. And I think that as we saw the trout beginning to add up, I think we had a limit. Commodore and I added ours together, and we had just under the limit for both of us. And again, low tide at Jeremy Cay, and just fishing with those shrimp. And spot-tail bass were biting pretty good. There's my Pentax camera that records most of the trips that I take when I go down there. This is Edisto Beach State Park, where we camped for that week. And we had set up our tents, and every time we'd come back, there's Commodore in the background cleaning fish. And did a lot of that kind of stuff. This is our last night. Going to have to take off and go back home. But when we get home, we had caught over 90 fish. We kept 27 that were within limits. And as I've gone down there before, I've taken my daughter for a week trip, her and I, and had a great time. I've taken my son Joshua. Joshua is great at finding shark's teeth and seashells and artifacts. Jerem, my son, dropped in from Florida and caught us. And Vicki and I have been, that's our wedding day right there, and we spent a lot of time over the years on trips to Edisto, which is just a wonderful place for a family to be raised and have those great, neat experiences. Edisto's been great to us.